Ireland is playing a very significant part in the global cloud economy at the moment, and we hear the word cloud used a lot. It's become part of our common language, along with other terms, lesser known ones maybe, like big data and data analytics and business intelligence and visualization and so forth. But essentially, what that really means is it's an evolution of technology, and it's an evolution of information and data delivery, how we use the information that's generated through the internet primarily these days. So when you look back on it, Ireland has built up over the years the basis for what I would call the digital ecosystem. We have the technology companies who came here initially to basically manufacture products and to serve the European market. And we can think of companies from Apple and Intel and EMC and HP and all of those companies. And they are now the leading international companies in the cloud space. So they are developing the technology and leading the world in the technology for cloud and big data, as well as the delivery systems and how the business models in terms of how you deliver that. So essentially it's new, but it's not really new in the sense that it's building on the base that we have built up. And I think the other interesting piece about that is that cloud is not confined just to the ICT sector. It is right across the full spectrum of the multinational community here. Not alone to say just ICT, which is driving the technology, but the adoption of it by financial services companies, particularly the life sciences companies in terms of product development and drug development, but also in terms of the delivery of healthcare. It's used in the education system. It's used right across the full spectrum of the economy, and we are building the foundations for that here, and looking forward to being able to build on it in well into the future. Ireland is well positioned from that point of view. Back in the in the 80s and particularly into the 90s, we did begin to build the connectivity infrastructure, which was needed at the time in terms of the dot-com boom at the time and the revolution, as it were, that was taking place at that time. And we began to build the basis for that in terms of the connectivity into and out of Ireland, and also the infrastructure within the country in terms of data centres and sophisticated delivery mechanisms like that. That then kind of at the dot-com bust, as it were, kind of was a little flat for a while, but I think we had laid the foundations for it, which we are now able to pick up again and develop to bring it to a level where it is now best in class internationally, because this is a global business. In addition to that build out of that infrastructure, and there's something like 23 or 24 data centres in Ireland at the moment, primarily around the Dublin area. The connectivity into that is building as we speak, both onto and off the island, but equally in terms of plans to distribute that around the island of Ireland, which is clearly important as well. There is also the provision of the, in addition to the connectivity, the energy infrastructure to support the operation of data centres, both from a cost point of view, but also from a sustainability point of view in terms of the government's programme to use sustainable and renewable energy, which we are building up to as well, and that is an important factor. And then equally, of course, our geographic location and our position in terms of our climate and our mild climate is a significant advantage in terms of the cooling requirements for the data centres and in terms of the ambient environment, and therefore using less energy to actually operate the data centres. So we have all of those building blocks there that are being seen and recognised by companies who are continuing to grow and expand their data centre activities, both company data centres like Microsoft and Google and Amazon and EMC and so forth, but also by the independent providers who are also coming in to support the delivery of the activity from here. I think as I said earlier, the term cloud and big data and all of those other labels have become part of our conversation at this point in time, and sometimes it's hard to grasp what they mean. In fact, the CEO of EMC is recently reported to have kind of said something like, "Never have such vague terms meant so much to so many." So we're still all trying to grasp what that is. But I see that. I would describe it as, for Ireland, the opportunity for Ireland as the information systems opportunity. It's probably said that we're, probably in the third industrial revolution of the last 300 or 400 years. There was the original industrial revolution we all learned about going to school. There was the industrial revolution in the late 19th, early part of the 20th century, which gave us important things which changed society, like electricity, the combustion engine, communications, and so forth. I think we're now about 50 years into the third industrial revolution, which is really based on the computer, the semiconductor, and the internet. And I think the three characteristics that distinguish that from previous industrial revolutions is that it is cloud-based, it is global, and it is very customer-centric. And that's the core of the opportunity, I think, for Ireland. And it's a technology opportunity, and it's a business services delivery opportunity. So what we're doing is building the ecosystem around that across all sectors. We have the multinational companies here that are leading in this. We have many Irish companies who are also providing some of the real good, clever software that's underpinning that. We are building the research and development capabilities both in companies and through funded programs through Science Foundation Ireland and the HEA and so forth. So we're building that capability to support the industry. And then what we're doing to try and I suppose capitalise on that opportunity would probably be in three categories. One is obviously building on the existing base of industry we have here, not just in the ICT sector, but right across the other sectors. And we are seeing companies like Dell and Amazon and Accenture and Google and HP, and the list goes on in terms of building out their cloud infrastructure here and using Ireland as a technology base to develop that infrastructure. And about 60% of our investments in the ICT sector right now are going into that space. The second strand to it is really around the kind of mid-tier companies that are not already here. And we're achieving some good success in that we have some companies over the last couple of years like Aspect Software, Genband, Total Defense, more recently HubSpot, Yapstone, companies like that who are locating their international activities here. And then a key part of it is the third part, which is the kind of emerging companies that are really driving the technology behind this space, and that's a key focus for us. And again, we've seen some companies, previously like Marketo and Engine Yard that we've all heard about, but more recent ones like Extensis going into Limerick, like Keyed In Solutions going into Letterkenny, and like Zendesk coming here into Dublin. So that is, we're building out all three elements of that. And what the activities they're doing here are right in that space. The three activities that we are kind of marketing Ireland for to those companies are research and development and technology development, global business services because it is global and cloud-based, and our data centre and connectivity opportunities. Those are the three areas that we are marketing Ireland for and getting big success in right now.